Well, creeps and cretins, madhouse maniacs, we are stoked to welcome you to the first episode of the Movies from the Madhouse podcast. I'm Master Seth, your master of ceremonies.
And I'm Mistress Dandeli, your queen of creep.
And this is just kind of so we have a show on, it's on YouTube and other various outlets. And it's a movie host show, you know, we do the thing.
The horror hosting deal, you know.
The Joe Bob thing, the Elvira thing. Mm-hmm. And, we just do public domain movies, and it's fun. But we decided we wanted to talk a little bit more, get a little more in-depth into some shit, so we decided we'd do a podcast. So that's where we're at. I guess we should introduce ourselves a little bit. I'm Seth. I have been a horror geek all my life and a musician for many years and blah blah woof woof, the same old geek shit. And I can talk people's ear off about horror movies because I'm a stupid nerd. So that's it for me, Mistress Dandeli.
Well, I am a lifelong witch and self-taught at a very early age and guided. And I got to be taught by one of the most amazing witches ever to have graced this planet. Her name is Babetta. I think the Love Witch was really created after her. She's that kind of witch. Anyway, I do burlesque and have been given the name the Queen of Creep with my weird, gross, strange, macabre burlesque things. Master Seth and I are in a band called the Beast of Eden. And, God, I don't know, all different things. Lots of, I am a great lover of the macabre and the ancient art of the Grand Guignol. Stage horror and lots of blood. I guess that's me.
And we're married.
Oh yeah.
So we're gonna talk about movies, horror movies, cult movies, sci-fi movies, exploitation movies. I think we're gonna do a movie a week, and every once in a while we're gonna do a showcase episode. I think that we're currently working on one that we're gonna do about witches in cinema. So that'll be fun.
Close to my heart.
Tonight we're going to talk about good movies, bad movies, old movies, new movies, whatever we decide to watch. Yeah. So this time around, for our first episode, we are doing a movie we both love. It's the 1932 Tod Browning film, Freaks.
Ooh, Freaks.
This is a movie I like it better every goddamn time I see it.
Yes, I love it. I love it so much. And you're right. It just gets better with every watching.
You can watch it. You have to pay for it if you want to see it streaming. We actually watched it on a DVD that was put out in '94. It also has a really good documentary on it. You got to pay to see it unless you're a pirate. But just a bitchin' fucking movie. We'll get into it. Directed by Tod Browning.
Yes.
Famous for Dracula. He had directed Dracula with, of course, Bela Lugosi the year before.
One of my true favorites. One of my dearest movies.
It's a good film.
I love it.
It's a good film.
I love it.
We could debate how good Dracula is.
I know. You and I.
Mm-hmm.
But someday, but not today.
Yeah, who knows? We might get into it. I don't know. I feel pretty passionately about how well it's a good film. I don't think it's a great film. You gotta realize it was put out the same goddamn year as Frankenstein,
which is an amazing film as well.
Well, here's the problem, and here's where this relates to all of this is Tod Browning. Tod Browning, he had done a lot of silent movies. Dracula feels like a sound film made by a guy who was used to doing silent movies.
I think that's part of the allure of it for me.
Okay.
I mean, The Brides of Dracula, what? That is one of the most amazing
It's full of good shit.
I love the whole thing. Every moment of that movie is something special. And Freaks is so I mean, to find out that like he did a lot of sideshow stuff. You know, and
Yeah,
and
Tod
that was
Browning.
close to his heart.
Yeah, he had a history working with sideshow performers. In fact, the lead, I guess, in this film, Hans, he was played by Harry Earls, who
I love
had worked with Tod Browning before
Yes,
in
yes.
silent films.
No, and in there wasn't there a talkie though that they did where he played the what the hell was that
Are you
called?
thinking of the Unholy Three? Because I think
Yes.
that was silent. I thought that was a silent one.
I don't know. I didn't know.
Huh. Okay. Well, somebody correct us.
I know. Correct us. Yeah.
Email us. We'll give you the addresses and shit at the end of the show. Oh shit, where were we?
Unholy Three.
Unholy 3.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Tod Browning working
Yes.
in the silence. I don't think he ever got the hang of it personally. I've heard other people say this. I've heard that he was not particularly present on the set of Dracula. I think Freaks is a better film. I think Freaks is his masterpiece, personally. Although he's made a number of silent films I haven't seen.
Well, I do love Freaks, and I love Freaks more and more every time I see it. But Dracula is really close to my heart, so I can't hold either of them up higher than the other
Oh, I
one
can.
for me.
I believe Freaks is a far superior film.
Yes, I know.
Damn near ruined Tod Browning's career.
Which is crazy to me. That is just nuts.
Well, people were ready for the film.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, it was full of what would have been at the time considered grotesque. But then again, it's like, it does walk this line, It walks this line. Is it an exploitation film? Is it not? I mean, sure, the quote-unquote freaks are the good guys.
Yes, absolutely.
The freaks are the good guys of the film. But that's still the whole selling point of the film.
I think it's very, very much a slice into, being able to see a little bit of what happens behind the scenes of the sideshow and what rubes don't get to see. And I really feel that it's, I personally don't think of it as something super exploitative. I mean, yes, that's just my opinion. I feel like it's very human, and I feel that the look into the lives of, these freaks, they're such beautiful people. They're just wonderful people. And the truly evil fucking nasty people are, the others. And the pretty
Right.
people. I don't know. And they're really disgusting in this film. So I view it as something super special, and I don't feel that it's crazy exploitative in that way. I feel like it's a behind the scenes kind of, not really, but a behind the scenes look at the sideshow.
It is,
and
it is that in its right, but I think it's absolutely possible to do both.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, the drawing of the film, the thing that makes people want to see Freaks is to see the freaks.
Well, yeah, but that's why the freaks have a career in the first place.
Right. Well, so I'm saying that is an exploitation. That is an exploitation cinema tactic. Put the unusual in front of you.
Yeah, but they are the unusual. That's how they make their living.
Yes, I'm just saying. It's a disagreement in terminology. It's an exploitation film, I believe. It's just you don't have to, when you're making an exploitation film, that doesn't necessarily mean you're putting something in a bad light.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I don't think it has to be, they know what's up.
Yeah.
This is an exciting, moment for a lot of them. I mean, I think that there were definitely a few folks, as we well learned, that ended up really not enjoying working on this film.
Right, most of them did not.
But I don't know about most of them. I think only a few
Well,
did not.
if
I think
recall,
a lot of people rather, I don't know, had a really good time.
Well,
while
maybe you're
filming
right.
this.
Maybe you're right. I seem to recall hearing that only Johnny Eck, the half boy, had that great of a time doing the film. I don't know. I mean, that's a lot of those sideshow performers wrote their own fucking autobiographies and shit. So we could probably find out all their opinions at some point.
Yeah,
I think
that
some
would
of
be
them
a
did.
thing to do.
I know there's there's stories available about the Hilton sisters. The Siamese twins in the film.
I saw a documentary all about the Hilton sisters. They are fascinating, and their life was very... I mean, they were basically sold as little tiny children, and I mean, oh my God, they led a very hardcore life until they got to be emancipated, and then they rocked it. They had the best time in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Anyway, I won't go on and on and on about the Hilton sisters, but I do love all things circus.
Well, whatever we know about it, it is common knowledge. The bearded lady in the film was not happy on set.
She was not happy.
My understanding is she wasn't much of a happy person in the least.
No, they said that she really wasn't at all.
Yeah.
She wasn't a very joyful person.
Folks, I don't know that each episode is going to be as scientific as this. We did just happen to watch the documentary on the film we're talking about. Some of them are just going to be kind of a little more off the cuff than this, I think. But I don't know. We'll see. We don't know what the fuck we're doing. And we thank you.
This is our first time.
We thank you for joining us. We got fucking snoring dogs.
There are teenagers and
the whole shebang.
Cats and ghosts and we are in the madhouse. It is.
It's a madhouse. Straight jackets and Thorazine and shit.
Indeed. Oh my goodness. So shall we?
I guess so, yeah. Let's get into the movie.
Yeah.
So, of course, if you haven't seen the film, you definitely should watch it.
Yes, watch it. Turn this off.
Push pause.
And go watch it.
Watch the movie. Come back. Because there's gonna be spoilers. Okay, so first off, depending on the version of the movie that you're watching, there's different edits a little bit, but some of them have this crawl at the opening, this text crawl. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Really ornate, and all this shit about the story of the people of the sideshow, people born unlucky, and things like this. But that they're human beings just like us, and you offend one, you offend them all.
That's right, the code
all
of the freaks.
Yeah. So, and it's really cool, and it's long. It's 2 full minutes long or something.
Yeah.
And it just goes, and it goes
beautiful.
so slow, and you're just waiting for the next words because it's going so slow, and you've already read all of it. But it's super cool. And then we cut to the goddamn opening, and it's just the name of the movie. The credit thing, Tod Browning's Freaks, based on Todd Robbins' Spurs, which I've never read. But the sign is made of paper, and suddenly this fist just tears through it, and you're immediately in the sideshow, you're being hollered at about attractions and shit.
That's right, by an outside talker. Don't
Yes.
you call him a barker?
For some reason,
right? Outside talker.
So yeah, and this guy's talking about nature's mistakes and shit. And but he brings us to the most horrifying one of all. And a woman screams, and then we get it dissolve, and we're in flashback.
Yes.
And there's this trapeze lady up on the trapeze, doing her thing, waving. And there's this little midget fella looking up at her, this little blonde guy.
Little person.
Yeah. And his apparently midget girlfriend, his girlfriend, she comes up.
Little person,
girlfriend.
They like to be called little people.
I don't presume to know what people like.
Well, I'm telling you right now, little people, they are little persons.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Anyway.
Okay, so they're talking. This little guy is just admiring the hell out of this trapeze artist. You can tell that his girlfriend is jealous. It's his girlfriend, yeah.
Yes, his fiance.
His fiance.
Yeah, they're gonna get married.
Yeah, so this is where we meet Hans and Frida.
And Frida. Oh, Hans and Frida.
Hans, I don't really know what he does in the circus. He's a little guy, and he wears a tuxedo. And I know that he does some sort of speaking, because later in the film he is reprimanded by Frida for having smoked too big of a cigar, because he didn't sound so good the night before.
Yeah, and she has a whole horse act.
Yeah, she's got some kind of horse act.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you can tell she's jealous as hell.
Well, it's not that she's jealous. It's that, I mean, it's so very obvious. Like, all of a sudden there's this giant woman that walks by and his tongue is practically like hanging out of his mouth like a fucking cartoon character.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not a matter of being jealous. It's a matter of being observant. Like, in my, and then he lies his ass off. He's like, oh, Frida, I only have eyes for you, And at first, like, she jokes around about that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's like, oh, I shouldn't be. Like, she is, like, kind of, like, joking while being observant.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then he straight up is like, I only have eyes for you, while he's like, Cleopatra, you're such a beautiful big lady. Like,
right, and you can tell she's just mocking him the whole time.
Oh.
She's playing it up in front of Frida.
So much. Just ridiculous and like her really pushing it and knowing that she's hurting Frida.
Mm-hmm. They're having fun with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I thank you for the flowers you sent me.
So we're already getting into kind of a soap opera aspect of this. Contrary to popular belief, this is not a horror film. I don't really think of this as a horror film. Do you?
No, and not in the way that I think other people do. I think that it is a horrifying film. What these people it's more of a murder, like, like
it's a morality tale.
Yes, it's a morality tale, and I mean, I find it to be a horror film, but more of a morality tale than anything.
Yeah.
Those people, they suck.
Yeah, they were terrible. Mm. But if people didn't take our advice and haven't watched the movie, they don't know what people were talking about.
No, they don't.
Because we've only met 3 so far. Then we cut to these 2 guys walking through the woods, and one of them, I guess, is a cop of some sort, and the other one, I guess, is a landowner.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, they're playing around. There's people on my property and shit. You got to get them out of here. Lock them up. So.
Oh, and it's one of the most, like, beautiful.
Yeah.
Mystical moments, and they're dancing and having fun.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, these guys come across this whole slew of, circus performers, and they're all just dancing around having a great old time, The skinny man is playing some sort of little tune on his harmonica, and the pinheads are dancing around, and
Johnny Eck is there.
Johnny Eck is there, the half boy, and the Prince, what's that guy's name? Prince
Randian.
Prince Randian. The human torso. Mm-hmm. Sometimes called human worms.
The bird girls.
Schlitzie. Right, Schlitzie, the pinheads. They're all having a great old time. And then these 2 guys make up stop. And they get all scared and shit, and they huddle around, what's her name? Madame Tetrazzini. Madame Tetrazzini.
Tetrazzini? Is it Tetrazzini? What did I write down?
I've got it here somewhere. It's Madame Tetrazzini.
Yeah, I wrote yes. Tetrazzini.
She seems to be like a caretaker of a sort,
She's amazing. I love her.
They all huddle around.
Oh,
yeah.
I love her.
And she explains to these guys that they're children, They're just basically children. I like to take them out in the sunshine and play when we have time. And the cop is like, okay, then you can just stay. He doesn't give a shit what the landowner thinks. He's just like, yeah, fine, fuck it then. You guys can stay. You guys are cool.
I thought it was the landowner that was like, you're fine. And the other guy was like, how dare you? I am so wrong.
No.
I've seen it so many times, and I always think that it's the landowner that's like, you are all awesome.
No, I think it's the
like,
cop.
what? I
Well, shit.
must be totally ass backwards.
Maybe
How
I am.
funny. No, it must be me. I'm serious. I'm dyslexic sometimes.
It's a lovely scene. It's a lovely scene in the film. You know, we just get. I mean, even though there's very little speaking, you just kind of get to know what this like family situation is like.
They're having fun out there, and then it's like, oh my god, fucking normal people trying to harsh on their happy joy, you know. But then it was, I mean, she's amazing. Madame Tetralini she's such a loving, caring person. She reminds me of my Yaya, but just in that loving way. Just, yeah.
Yeah. She's a wonderful character. She doesn't get enough time in it.
No.
She doesn't have a whole lot. She's only got like, I think she's in that scene and she's in the feast scene later on, and that's it.
And you know what? And she's very powerful in that moment too.
Yes. So after this park scene, we get like this long chunk of the film that is just getting to know the sideshow. Yeah. You know, it's just the camera, you know, each scene is just another chunk of shit that's going down at the sideshow. Mm-hmm. And we're getting introduced to all the major players that are going to be in the film, you know, and just seeing them in their lives. We meet Frozo the Clown.
Yep, Josephine and Joseph.
Josephine Joseph, the fucking half man, half woman.
Mm-hmm. Venus.
I don't know what she does. She has some sort of act.
Venus, I think when we first see her, she's got her seal friend.
Yeah.
So she, and with a name like Venus, she must have like an act where she, you know, possibly does the whole Aphrodite Venus thing and coming out of the shell with the seal. I don't know. That's my guess. We never see what she does, but she.
Not that I recall.
I assume that it's something watery with the seal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. We meet Cleopatra, the Tarzan, the previously mentioned Tarzan woman.
Yes.
Tarzan, trapeze woman.
Yes.
And of course the fucking strong man Hercules.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Hercules.
And there's a whole thing with where Hercules is somehow connected with Venus.
Oh yeah.
But they're in a fight. And so she takes off.
I love that part. I love how she's just like packing up her shit. Like, fuck you, dick. Like, and he's such a jerk. He's like, oh, you can't take that. I gave that to you. She's like, fuck you.
So she takes off and then goes belittling Frozo the Clown for no reason I can figure out.
She just like spews at him like, bleh.
But this is where we see their little relationship bud, you know. And Frozo and Venus are just fucking adorable.
He won't put up with her shit either. He comes in and he's like, wait a minute, don't you talk to me. And she's like, I'm sorry. I had to take it out on somebody, you know. Not
only that, oh, don't you hate that when you have a burp in your throat and it won't come out?
Yeah.
And it just stops you from talking?
Gotta have a sip of something.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so.
Seduction of the strongman comes next. Where
Cleo seduces the strongman.
After the whole, like, breakup thing.
Mm-hmm. Her and Frozo. That's what I was getting at. Now I remember what I was getting at. That Frozo and Venus are, with the exception of Madame Tetralini, they're the only non-freaks that are decent fucking human beings in the entire film.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Everybody else is
Everybody else is a
dick.
shithead.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else is a fucking dick.
Yeah, all the like so many of the other performers, just people on the sidelines that are, you're absolutely right. It's like if it's not Venus or Frozzo or Madame Tetralini,
Yeah.
you
And
know,
these people are just being treated like shit
yeah,
by random circus performers,
Yeah. teasing them,
fucking with Josephine, fucking with all of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Some bullshit.
Bet nobody fucks with Prince.
Prince Randian?
Prince Randian.
No, that motherfucker, he's awesome.
He'll whip your
Like,
ass.
that guy. Uh-huh.
That's another scene we get to see in the movie. One of my favorite scenes in the movie is Prince Randian, who's got no arms or legs, setting himself up with a cigarette and a box of matches and lighting it and smoking it.
Yeah.
That's fun. That's a fun scene.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He hollers something you can't understand. That's one thing about this movie. There's lots of lines in it.
Well, and they cut a lot of his stuff out.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Which is a bummer. Mm-hmm. Because I would have liked to have seen so much more of him. Like,
yeah, he's charismatic.
Is a very charismatic.
For how little he is in the
fellow.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very. So many of them. There were a lot of people by the end where I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I want to know more. Like, I wish they would have been able to have, really worked everyone in.
Yeah.
But from what I hear, it was like the biggest freak show. It was far bigger than any circus.
Far bigger than a real life freak show, yeah.
Had put together. Right.
Okay, where the fuck are we?
We're still at the seduction.
This is where Hercules is wandering around the goddamn...
He's all fucked up.
Yeah, he's all drunk. And fucking Cleopatra sees him out her window. She yoo-hoos him in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they just get right to it.
Yeah, they
just
do.
basically get right to it. She starts to cook some eggs. Those eggs must have fucking burned.
I know. Like, what happens
she put
to
them
the
eggs in the pan, and she put one egg in the pan, and then they just got to it.
Yeah. Oh, you're squeezing me to death.
And you like it. Or when she asks him how many eggs he wants, he's like, I'm not very hungry. How about 6? And so she cracks one and then turns to him.
How do you like them?
How do you like them? Then they got to fucking while his eggs burned.
Yeah.
So anyway, these two are a couple now. The only couple that's fallen apart is Hans and Frida.
Yes. Poor Hans and Frida.
I mean, shit.
Frida is the sweetest.
Hans is so fucking sprung that, like, he's hanging out somewhere and Cleopatra's not even fucking there.
Yeah.
And there's just 3 guys. The fucking Hercules is one of them.
Yeah.
And they're sitting there playing cards or some shit, you know, and they start talking just a little bit of kind of, just, of course, I mean, it's a 30s movie, so it's light, but it's sexy locker room talk about fucking, about Cleopatra.
Oh, she's there, but she's like not.
Oh, no, yeah, she's off to the side.
Yeah.
He starts fucking screaming at him.
Yeah, he freaks
Hans
out.
does. He's just shouting at them. You can't understand a word of what he said. It might be in German. I don't fucking know.
It's definitely in German. He freaks out.
He does.
He is so pissed
and
off.
she's laughing at him while he does it.
Yeah, she's mocking him and ha ha ha, like
right after he gave her a fucking massage.
Through the whole thing. Rub me. Oh, it's so nice to be rubbed. Like, ugh.
Yeah.
She's rotten to the core.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
Yeah. She's so bad. And Hans, I mean, he really is, you know how I feel about this. I'm like, yeah, I get that he's sprung, all this shit, but like, what? You fucker.
Oh, yeah, he's
From
a
the
fucker.
very beginning. Like, oh, I only have eyes for you, Frida. And Frida is the sweetest. She's so nice and she's so loving.
Oh, you have that lovely
scene. She
scene.
loves him, like, truly and honestly. And she just wants his happiness.
Yeah.
Like, that's the real love. Like, all
Right,
right, well,
yeah.
I love you. You know? She's just, I don't know. She's too kind.
Well, you have that beautiful scene. She's a hell of an actress, too.
She is.
Frida, shit, we didn't mention that. Fucking, Frida is Daisy Earle's sister
That's
of Hans Earls, who
That's right.
plays Hans.
That's right.
Or not Hans Earl, Harry Earls, who plays Hans.
Mm-hmm.
So they were actually brother and sister, and they had a couple of other sisters, and they performed as the Doll Family.
Yes, yes. The Dancing Dolls or the Doll Family.
Oh, and that other piece of trivia about Harry Earls, he's also known as one of the members of the Lollipop Guild.
My favorite one of all the Munchkins.
I'm not as big of an Oz fan. I'm not a big enough Oz fan to have a favorite Munchkin.
I am a huge Wizard of Oz fan, and I love the Wizard of Oz so much, and he is my most favorite of all. He's got the little horns, and he's like, he makes the best faces.
He's the one in blue, right?
God.
Is he the one in blue?
So cute. I think so. I don't know. He's got the little horns. And I always wanted to dress every single one of my boys up as him for Halloween, but they didn't go for it.
Of course not.
None of them.
It's creepy.
It's awesome.
It's creepy
He's
shit.
So awesome. Yeah, Morgan with Ava, our old friend Morgan, she had Ava, and Ava was going to dress up as the ballerina. So I thought it was awesome, but that all fell apart as well, Morgan. But anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, we're still just kind of wandering around the sideshow.
Yeah.
There's all these fucking great scenes here. There's the Hilton sisters, Daisy and Violet, and one of them, I can't remember, I think it's Violet, is engaged to Roscoe, the stuttering guy.
Yeah.
Or is it Daisy?
I want to say Daisy is
I think
the one.
I think it's Daisy because I think he
Daisy.
says Daisy.
Yeah, because he's always telling Violet to stop getting wasted, or, and she's like,
Yeah.
Violet's always the one being like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
He's like, stop saying that to me.
Stop taking her away from me. He always used that as an alibi.
That guy sucks.
Oh, fuck you. Roscoe's awesome.
No way.
Roscoe's awesome.
He sucks.
He's a fun character.
He sucks. Anyway, but
what else? What other scenes do you have? The girl with no arms eating. That's another thing about this film. Much like the Prince Randian film or segment, the camera will just linger on these people while they do whatever it is that makes them a freak. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
The camera just lingers on them. We get to watch this girl eat with her feet for a longer time than you would think you would need. That's kind of what I'm talking about, getting back to how it is in its way an exploitation film. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course, absolutely. But it's also a sneak peek at look,
Yeah.
they gotta do what they gotta do.
Yeah.
They need to eat food. They need to roll their motherfucking cigarettes. They need to fucking do what they do. And Frances is wonderful. She is just as graceful and lovely as anyone can be. I love her. Yeah. Ugh.
Kind of pretty too.
Very, very pretty. Absolutely
The
beautiful.
now we see them all in a very human light.
Yeah.
We also see them all in a very positive light, in a very loving light.
Well, because they are wonderful humans.
But that we get one scene of foreshadowing. Do you remember when there's that other armless woman?
Yes,
She's bigger, and she's hanging
cool.
out with that little guy. What the fuck is his? Is it Antonio something? Angelo Rosito.
Yeah,
Angelo Rosito.
Angelo Rosito. He is a super tough guy.
Yeah, he was in all kinds of shit.
Mm-hmm.
I remember him most from that not a very good film. It was Bela Lugosi, Scared to Death. Do you remember this one?
Yeah.
That was where the entire story was. It was within the mind of a dead woman. She was on the autopsy table,
yes.
and it was all of her flashbacks to how she died. So it was like this murder mystery.
Very cool.
It tried too hard to be funny sometimes. It was just altogether it was an unsuccessful movie. But Angelo Rosito was in that. But you see him and that other armless woman in a trailer, and she says something about how Cleopatra only wants him for his money.
Yeah. Yeah, and that
And Angelo says, let him try to harm one of us.
That's
And
right.
she says, that's right. She don't know us. That's the one instance of, like, meanness you see.
Well, and it's
among
not
any
even
of them.
meanness. It's like
Well, I'm sorry.
it's being
The
protective.
the only scene you see that's not just joyous.
Yeah,
you
they're
know.
being protective. They're watching out. They're watching that she's taking advantage of him.
Mm-hmm.
She's borrowing money.
Yeah.
She doesn't even, she still doesn't know the secret about him yet.
Right. Which
She's-
we'll get to.
But she's borrowing money and she's being a rotten bitch, and that comes natural to her, for sure. As far as her character,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
actress is phenomenal.
Yes. Mm-hmm. What was her name?
Oh God, she was from Russia, right?
Olga something, right?
I think
Olga
so.
Baklanova.
There you go.
Olga Baklanova is about the prettiest Olga name I've ever heard.
Yes, beautiful. She was so tall.
Yeah. She was a great bitch in this.
Yeah, she's perfect.
So okay, just one more scene out of this long chunk of the movie, because it wouldn't be a complete synopsis of Freaks without this one scene.
Oh, I
and that's
know.
Frozzo and the Pinheads.
I love
Frozzo
it.
and Schlitzie and those other girls,
Elvira.
Elvira and Jenny
And
Lee.
Jenny Lee.
Elvira, Jenny Lee, and Schlitzie, the three Pinhead sisters.
They are my favorites. I love them.
And Frozzo's just sweet as can be with him. He talks to him about how he's going to buy him hats with feathers in them and shit.
He's telling Schlitzie.
Makes Schlitzie jealous when he tells Elvira or Jenny Lee, whichever one, he's going to buy her a hat with a bigger feather in it.
Oh, Schlitzie gets mad.
Schlitzie
Smacks
does.
him.
Schlitzie was a famous circus sideshow performer. One of the more oh God, what's the fucking word? Popular, but proficient. One of the more proficient ones.
Yeah, Schlitzie lived to be over 80 years old.
Yep, and was a man.
And was a man, and was absolutely, just from what we hear, just joyous and wonderfully happy. Loved performing, loved being in the circus. Had a wonderful, wonderful life. So beautiful. I mean, just the smile alone. Schlitzie's smile is it's just amazing.
It seems genuine. That's for damn sure.
Absolutely. I love how she like smacks him. She's like, ow.
Yeah. So anyway, now that big chunk of the movie's out of the way, it's gotten so bad. Hans and Frida basically aren't even a thing anymore. Hans has started hanging out in Cleopatra's trailer with her. Sometimes I think the strong man's just in there hiding when he comes to visit her and shit.
Yeah, totally. He is. He's just in there all the time, like
worshipping Cleopatra. Mm-hmm. And she just having a grand old time with it, thinking it's fucking hilarious.
Oh yeah.
Frozzo and Venus they keep slowly getting closer.
Yeah. He forgets the date and she's like super bummed. Mm-hmm. But it all ends up really nice.
Well, yeah, it does with them.
There's a big kiss in that scene.
Yep, there's that big kiss.
I love it.
And then it's just basically they're a couple then.
They're just
he's like, well, I guess we're all set then. She's like, yeah.
Right. Okay, great.
So that's official. We can get that shit out of the way so we can get back to the movie. But before we get back to the movie, Violet gets engaged.
Yes.
Violet gets engaged to some handsy dandy.
Yes. He's a lot better than Roscoe.
He's like the polar opposite of Roscoe.
Jeez. God.
It's my least favorite scene in the film.
Crazy. I know it is.
This is my least favorite scene in the film.
I know. It's very cheesy.
Where the two fiancés meet, and they're very nice to each other, and they tell, Roscoe tells whatever Handsome Pants his name is, tells him you'll have to come and see us sometime.
Yes.
And he's Handsome Pants says you'll have to come see us sometime. And it's a
I know.
it's in a movie that is so fucking perfect and so goddamn good. To throw that goddamn joke in it pisses me off. It pisses me off.
No.
God damn it, Gus! It pisses me off. I hate it.
Cheesy. Pretty cheesy.
It's the worst thing in the film.
Yes. I think so too.
So, and we get this heartbreaking scene after this where Frida confronts Hans one last time. And tries to tell him, to her, you're just something to laugh at.
And he's just like, no, I love her. You don't understand.
Yeah, he's pussy whipped.
Just totally like, you don't get it.
We never do find out if they fuck, do we?
No.
Hans and Cleopatra?
No, I don't know.
Hard to say.
I don't know. All I know is that Frida was super sweet, and he just like blew her right off.
Yeah.
It's like, nope. Frida even goes to her, to Cleopatra.
Yeah, that's the next thing. Frida confronts fucking Cleo.
Yep.
And Cleo just mocks her. Basically, is like, yeah, you're absolutely right. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
And then I'm doing what I'm fucking doing.
Frida unwittingly, tells her about the fortune.
Yep, the fortune. His inheritance.
Yes. Yep.
We don't really know we don't know for the entire film. This seems like a plot device. This seems like something that somebody who didn't think the story through properly came up with. If Hans is fucking filthy rich from some inheritance, what's he doing traveling with the goddamn circus sideshow?
He could just be finishing out that season, and that's what she says. That's, she mentions that.
Yeah, does she?
She does. She mentions something about we weren't going to tell anyone until after we left the circus, and so they might have just been finishing off their run.
Okay.
Just to be good, decent people, and not leave people hanging. Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
That's my guess on that. But yeah, she doesn't mean to. She thinks that Cleopatra already knows.
Right. She thinks that's what Cleopatra's doing. Well, Cleopatra's just such a bitch. She doesn't even have a reason. She's just doing it for goddamn fun.
No, and she's borrowing money.
She's money.
Taking advantage and, having fun with it and
but
laughing.
Mostly she's doing it for fun.
Yep.
And her and the strong man laugh about it together. Her and Hercules.
Oh, yeah. It's fun for the both of them. And then they find out about the fortune.
And then it would be that's when the plot starts to come together. She's like, he would marry me. He would marry me.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
And so the plot thickens.
Yes.
She's gonna marry him. They're gonna kill him.
Yeah.
And she's gonna inherit that money. Oh boy.
Evil.
So,
evil.
Of course, after she's like, he would marry me. The next thing we see, title card comes up, the wedding feast. So we know the engagement is on now. It is almost time for Cleo and Hans to get married. And this is apparently like a ritual that the sideshow has, that the freaks have when one of them is getting married, I suppose, or maybe just for various life events. I'm not absolutely certain. But they're having a fucking party. They got a big tent, a big-ass tent,
party.
A big long table. It's fucking
wonderful.
The bird girl is dancing on the table.
She's awesome. Cuckoo
the bird girl.
Yes.
Cuckoo the bird girl. The Angelo Rosito is on the table.
Yes.
Everybody's having a good time. And then they have the silence. And who gives the toast? Doesn't somebody give a toast?
Oh my goodness.
Does Rosito do it?
I think it's Rosito. I mean, he's got the loving cup.
I can't remember now.
He's got the loving cup, and so he seems to be, Yeah,
it must have been him. God, why can't we remember this? Why can't either one of us?
Stage, on top of the table.
Well, Yeah, okay, it must have been him. God, I'm gonna feel like a dick if it turns out it was somebody else. But he gets them all in their chant. You know, this whole scene is like probably the most iconic scene in the film. The wedding feast. This is, as far as I'm concerned, the pinnacle scene of the film.
Yes.
You know, and they're beating their fists on the table and they're chanting, you know, one of us, gooble gobble, gooble gobble, we accept you, one of us. You know, which the Ramones paraphrased for Pinhead, of course.
Yes, gabba gabba hey.
And they're all taking drinks out of this cup. They're all taking turns. And fucking Cleopatra and Hercules are just shithoused. They're just wasted. And they're laughing.
She even kisses him.
Oh, yeah, shit. She made, before the loving cup thing even started, she made an ass an ass out of Hans.
Yep.
Already. By kissing him and talking shit to Hans. Talking to him like a baby.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, but the other folks, they don't notice because they're partying. You know, Frida knows. Frida's fucking heartbroken the entire goddamn time.
Very
Frida's
hard.
a fucking wreck.
Yeah, that's so hard for her.
Mm-hmm.
And to see her treating him like that.
Yep.
Is just the worst.
Yeah.
That's when Madame Tetralini goes after her in that scene, and she's very powerful in that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And Hans is super sad too. You can tell part of that's probably booze melancholy. You can tell the booze has been flowing pretty heavily. But
he's so shamed.
He's ashamed.
And she's poisoning that champagne. She keeps poisoning the champagne, and you can see her
right
poisoning the champagne. You know, and he's been, I mean, literally just shamed, cuckolded, and shamed.
Yeah.
And
in front of all of his friends.
In front of all of his friends. You know, in front of his family. Really.
Yeah.
Because it's more than just that. With, you know, I believe that it was really, family. God, I mean, the loving cup. We accept you, one of us.
Mm-hmm. And
one of us.
And Hercules turns, because she's apparently not hearing it. You know, Cleo's not hearing it. Hercules is like, they're going to make you one of them. And this, in her drunken mind, this freaks her the fuck out.
She gets fucking
And Angelo
furious.
comes up to her with the fucking loving cup. Yeah. She takes it, she fucking throws it on him, throws the whole drink on him.
Horrifying.
Says, one of you'll make me.
Oh my God.
I'm not one of you.
She calls them
filthy, slimy freaks.
Oh my God, I hate her.
And then her and Hercules just start yelling at everybody, get out, get out!
I hate her
Then Hercules picks up goddamn Hans and starts riding him around on his back.
No, he picks Hans up and puts Hans on her back.
That's right.
And she rides him around. Which is actually like the end of Spurs. Is something about riding her around forever.
Oh yeah.
That would be the
story that it was based on.
Story that it was based on. Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
This story ain't done yet. This ain't done yet.
No.
So anyway, after the party, you know, Cleo and Hercules are trying to explain to Hans that it was all a joke. You know, Hans is morbidly depressed. You know, they're trying to explain it to him. Didn't I tell you she was drunk? You know, this sort of shit.
Hans is like poisoned and wasted and poisoned.
Yes, yeah, and he gets excited and starts hollering, and then faints, just falls over.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I guess he's okay, you know, but he's laid up in bed now.
And the doctor knows he's been poisoned.
The doctor knows he's been poisoned. But Cleo acts like she doesn't know shit about it.
Oh, yeah, and that makes it seem like she saved him.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Well, you know, fuck that. I had already seen Angelo fucking spying on them.
Yeah.
He saw it happen.
Now they're starting to be watched at every moment.
Yeah.
Everything they're doing is being watched.
Mm-hmm. And Hans knows now too.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You know, next scene we see, she's trying to feed him poison, and he doesn't swallow it, And he's like, I'll never forget what you were doing for me.
Yes.
You know? And that's great writing. It's
Yeah.
nice little ominous writing. I'll never forget what you were doing for me.
Mm-hmm.
I love that shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's good foreshadowing because, you know, his brethren, they are, like you said, they are on the... Well, you said it already, you know, everywhere they go. I mean, Hercules goes to his trailer, there's fucking people under his goddamn stairs peering out at him, you know?
Yeah, they're being watched
Both of
every
them.
moment.
Everywhere they go.
That's right. They have done fucked up.
Yeah.
They're
We can
about
see
to
that
find out.
There's a whole revenge planned.
Yeah.
And they start getting ballsier with it.
Yeah.
You know, like Hans just has a bunch of them in him and Cleo's trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And Cleo comes in, she's like, "You'll have to go." He's like, "I like having my friends here."
Yeah. I need to give you your medicine.
Yeah. And as soon as she says that, they start pulling out like, I think
It's a fucking sling blade. Switchblade.
Switchblade. Yeah, was that fucking Johnny X got a fucking pistol.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
Johnny X pulls a pistol out of his goddamn tuxedo jacket.
Mm-hmm.
They don't point it at her or anything, but they're just like, "Oh, we're not going anyplace.
Yeah.
We're not going no place. And you're not going to give her any more, give him any more goddamn medicine." You know, and this is, of course, like this climax has to happen on like the wettest, fucking muddiest night.
I know.
You know,
right?
it's just
like
the weather
pouring
is just a fucking wreck.
rain.
They're in the middle of traveling. You know, they are not stopped up somewhere. They are in the middle of traveling.
Yeah.
This giant fucking caravan of all these horses and wagons.
Yep.
And shit.
All the Vardos.
And so Venus knows too much. Venus knows everything that's going on, and she can report it. She's gonna report it, and Herc has been made.
She says, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
So Hercules decides, makes the decision. I'm gonna fucking take care of her. Mm-hmm. So he heads to her goddamn trailer, but Frozzo jumps in, and they get into this fucking fist fight.
Oh, and Frida is the one that tells Frozzo, like, he's gonna be after Venus.
Yeah.
You know, so she, once again, is just like this little... She's just an amazing being. She's like, all right. With all the shit she's going through, she saves Venus, too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Frozzo comes to the rescue.
They get in a big old fucking fight, and for shit, I mean, at one point... Hercules has Frozzo's back on a goddamn hot stove.
Yes.
You know? They just beat the hell out of each other, though.
They do for a while.
I mean, and things are just turning to chaos, you know? It's too windy, it's too rainy, trailers are falling down and shit.
Yeah, there's all kinds of fucking... That big accident where the trailer goes over.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. It's scary.
And as they're going over, you know, at this point, Hercules and Frozzo are thrown out into the fucking mud, you know? And Hercules is just about to take him out when it gets a goddamn knife in the chest. One of them has thrown a knife at him, you know, and Frozzo's able to get away. And then we see this goddamn scene. This is the other most iconic scene in the film, and this is the one place where the film is a horror movie, and where the lens of it's a grotesque scene. It's kind of a grotesque scene, you know, because for the ones to be stalking Hercules through this rainy mud, for some reason they picked all the ones that are closest to the ground. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The prince is there. And, you know, Johnny's there. You know, it's all these ones that are close to the ground. One of the pinheads is there. I think it's Schlitzie. And they're all just crawling at him in this mud, and slime and shit. And they just advance on him. You know, it's a monstrous scene. And I understand it's justice, and these are still our heroes, but that one scene is like, it's like gnarly. It's a side terrifying. We haven't seen anything of those characters. We have not seen this side of them before, this absolutely vengeful, murderous side of them.
You should not fuck with us.
Right.
You do not fuck with us.
Right. The fuck around and find out.
Fuck around and find out. And, yes, I love it. And every time I see it, I get really excited. It makes me very happy. You know how I am about things like that.
Yeah. We know that Frozone got away.
Yes.
But we don't really get an ending for most of these characters, because what we get now is we immediately cut to Cleopatra.
Yes.
And she is hauling ass through the woods because these folks are after her, and all we see is her hauling ass through the woods and them advancing on her. And then we cut back to the beginning of the movie with the fucking
with
the barker talking about
the outside talker.
Yeah, the outside talker, still introducing the most horrifying creature in the freak show.
Yes, that she used to be the most beautiful.
She used to be the peacock of the skies.
The peacock of the air.
And apparently what they've done to her is turned her into a goddamn bird lady. Feathered her. She's feathered. She's on her hands like bird legs. I guess she's got no legs anymore. She's squawking like a fucking bird. They must have done something to her voice. In a perfect world, we would go to credits at that point.
Yes.
This is one of the only faults of the film, is that it doesn't cut to credits at this point.
At that moment, it should just be done. But there was a lot of changes with this movie. They took away things. They added that whole happier ending.
Right.
Which
is where we're at with this absolutely needless happy ending, where we see we go to Hans's mansion.
He's just depressed.
Hans is this depressed little man living in a mansion,
little giant mansion.
And here comes Frozone and Venus to visit.
And Frida.
Well, we don't see Frida yet. Remember, his
right.
butler comes and says you have visitors. He's like, I can't see nobody. And Frozone says, well, you're going to see us. And they come barging in. And he goes, oh, yeah. I told you I cannot see anybody. Frozone says, well, there's someone you just got to see. And in comes Frida. And they embrace.
Then she's like, I love you. Mm-hmm. I love you, Hans. Don't worry, I love you. And
he lays in his sister's chest and cries. Frozone and Venus leave because they're going to need their privacy. And then it ends. Nearly perfect. Nearly a perfect film.
Nearly perfect. I am in agreement.
That ending?
Love that movie, but the ending is kind of unnecessary. Mm-hmm. And I think Tod Browning knew that too. I mean, he didn't want to... He was dealing with, the constraints of what everybody wanted. And then it ended up being... we heard things about while they were filming that they had to have their own commissary because the entertainers were like, oh, we don't want to eat with them. Yeah. Are you fucking kidding me? You motherfucking 30s actors... we're not going to eat in the same place as them. Fuck that. I can't fucking believe them. They talk about F. Scott Fitzgerald. It's like, oh my God, I don't know. That's foul to me. That people would treat them terribly. I don't even get it. And that the movie, that obviously these people of the 30s were just not with it. And we're not ready to be like, the pretty people are bad. What?
Well, I think what you had was protest from both aisles, from both sides of that aisle, because you had that, and then you had the other people who were like, we shouldn't be exploiting these people in that way.
Well, and
you have both schools, and you see this as something happening today.
I know, and you know how I feel about that. Like the bottom line is, especially with circus. This was a way of life. This was a way of life that these people, no matter what, they were able to create a really good life for themselves. And I have a lot of feelings about that. I just do. I love circus.
I'm not talking about the intent of the film. I'm talking about the way different segments of the audience saw it.
Absolutely.
You know, some people were
Absolutely.
horrified because they couldn't see, quote unquote, the zipper up the monster's back.
Right.
And other people
Right.
were horrified because they thought it was degrading. But that's really just one of the special things about Freaks, you know, is that, you know, there's different ways you can take it, you know, and I guess,
Absolutely.
you know, I guess that's something that's true of a lot of horror films. I'm kind of hoping to be able to go into like a deep dive into the maybe. I mean, of course, there's going to be fun films. You know, I'd love to do like, I don't know, Killer Clowns from Outer Space at some point or something like that. You know, but I do want to go into deeper themes and things, and especially, you know, I mean, film is a reflection of cultural changes. You know, all that kind of shit. So it is good to kind of look at the ideas that are metaphorically being presented in films, and not only that, but look at kind of study audience reactions to some of these films, you know, because that you can kind of see where morals of a culture are shifting based on reactions to art.
Absolutely. I mean, those people in the 30s, like I said, were absolutely not fucking ready
Right.
to deal with this badass movie. And it, you know, it wasn't until much later that it was reborn and found, and people felt more like freaks. They felt more connected.
Yes.
And yeah, you're right. You can absolutely see the culture shifting. It's fascinating, really.
Well, and having witnessed a couple generations of shit, you know, I'm starting to see the cyclical nature of outrageous or offensive pop culture. We're watching it in real time right now with the whole Lil Nas X shit, you know.
Yeah, people
And
freaking out about it.
You know,
It's
I haven't seen anything
ridiculous
like this since the
freak out.
80s with all the Judas Priest shit, you know.
Oh,
and Twisted
I don't
Sister
know
and
about
shit.
that. I think people flipped the fuck out in the 90s with Marilyn Manson, and I was
A
like,
little
oh
bit,
my
but it wasn't
God.
as giant. And granted,
It's
we didn't have
ridiculous, you
social
know?
media at that time.
I mean-
so maybe it's not.
I think more people should be freaking out more now about Marilyn Manson than than they were then in the 90s, because they were like, oh my God, he's creepy. It's like, no, he's actually fucked up. But that's my opinion on that. But yeah, no, I think you're right. I think that it's pretty wild that so many people are freaking out about the Little Nas X thing. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh shit! I think that just about wraps it up. I think that about does it for this one.
I've had a lot of fun.
I have too. I don't know if this is the
chatting
format. I don't know
about freaks.
Yeah, I don't know if this is the format it's going to take for in the future. This is our first time. This is
We're just feeling it out.
So we're feeling it out. We'll see how it goes. I think the way we're going to go is that next week or next time, I don't know if we're doing this weekly for sure or what. I think next time it's going to be Dandeli's pick for a movie.
It will be my pick.
So you're going to have to start thinking about that.
All right.
What you're going to surprise me with. And what we're going to talk about. And when we do this, it can be something we've seen. It can be something we haven't seen. It can be something one of us has seen. You know, but we're going to surprise the other one with it. And after we do a couple of those, we'll do a fan pick. We'll get on. Speaking of where we'll get on, you can get in touch with us at, if you need to, Facebook, Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're on Slasher. Or you can get in touch with us at moviesfromthemadhouse@gmail.com. And, but what the fuck was I talking about? Something internet related. Hell, I don't know. Okay.
I don't know. We're wrapping it up. We're talking about how we're going to surprise each other.
That's what I was getting at. I'll ask.
Fan picks.
Fan picks.
That's right.
I'll put a thing asking for fan picks on all of our social media things, and you guys can bombard me with the picks, and we'll pick some of those to give our and we'll give you a credit. We'll give you a shout out on the podcast and all that shit. But yeah, get in touch with us on all those places. Watch our YouTube show. We've hosted a bunch of movies. You can watch us. You can watch Werewolf in a Girl's Dormitory with us. You can watch fucking
Oh
demon
my-
witch child with us.
It's one of my favorites.
At midnight, I'll take your soul.
Oh
And
my
we'll
God,
mention-
Coffin Joe, Coffin Joe.
We'll probably even do a couple of these on our podcast. So we'll see.
Yes.
We'll just see how it all goes.
See the madness.
What else? I guess that's about it. The music was by Glitty and Pond. Anna.
We'll talk to you next time.
Next time. Until next time, I'm Master Seth, the Master of Ceremonies.
And I'm Mistress Dandeli, your Queen of Creep.
And we'll see you in your nightmares.
Ta-ta.